Welcome, thanks for joining me today. We're beginning a new series of lockdown sessions, as you probably know, since you're watching this video. I thought it'd be good just to spend a few moments each day to think about one theme in particular. And this is one of those themes which you'll find in the New Testament from 1 Corinthians 13. And it's a familiar phrase, perhaps, even for those of us who don't know the Bible very well: faith, hope, and love. No, in my mind, as we go through lockdown, these three virtues are going to be really important for us, but also for the rest of our lives as well. So I hope you find these reflections interesting. We're going to meet every weekday at 3 p.m. apart from Thursday, when we'll be meeting on Zoom. But if you look at the Facebook posts, you'll find out more information about that. So 1 Corinthians 13:13, Paul says this: "Now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love." On YouTube, I've been watching a series of videos by a channel called Wired. Now, this series is called 5 Levels, where they have an expert in a particular subject, and they have them try and explain one concept in 5 different levels. So they start at the child level, then they go up to the teenage level, then to the university level, then to the postgraduate level, and then finally an expert speaks to another expert. And it's a really fascinating exercise. I recommend you go and check them out. But it really shows the wisdom of that idea that when you try and explain something simply, it almost requires a level of expertise to do it well. In 1 Corinthians 13:13, in my mind, we see Paul doing something of that simplifying work for us. He's not afraid of confusing his readers. If you go and read Romans, for example, you'll see that Paul isn't afraid of confusing us. But here in the middle of a very complex argument, Paul offers a very simple statement: faith, hope, and love. These three things remain, but the greatest of these is love. So as we endure another lockdown, I thought maybe we should spend some time thinking about those things. We don't have to stay simple, of course. We may get quite complicated, but let's see what we get on with and see how we get on with this stuff. So we start this week with faith. And a very simple question: if you were asked to explain to a child what faith means, what would you say? You might need to think about that for a while, but is faith something you do? Is faith something you are given? Can it be lost? Does it change as you get older? Is it always focused on someone or something? What does it feel like to have faith? Does it make your life better or worse in the long run? All kinds of other questions start coming up as you start to think, how would I simplify this idea of faith so that a child can understand? And whatever summary you come up with, I want us to remember that very key word in what Paul says in 1 Corinthians 13, verse 13. He says these three things remain. Faith remains when other things have fallen away. Paul has a really deep insight here. He shows us that whatever faith is, however you're going to describe it, it will outlast other things in life. So all the burdens that we carry, faith will carry us beyond the burden. It will help us overcome the challenges we face. And it will keep us going, Paul says, until we see Jesus face to face. Faith remains. It will remain once COVID-19 has gone. It will remain beyond empires and kingdoms and governments and rulers. Once they've all gone, faith remains. So maybe this virtue, this faith, is worth cultivating. maybe we should think more about what it means and how we do it and what it doesn't mean and how we shouldn't do it. So if you want to do that, if you want to think a bit more deeply about faith, then let me invite you to join me tomorrow again at 3 p.m. as we go a little bit deeper into this idea of faith. And if you want to see me again today, maybe one little snippet is not enough. Tonight at 10 p.m. we'll be joining for Compline at Clarence, which is a time to slow down at the end of the day and to reflect on all the things we've experienced today. So join me then, same place, Facebook Live. And until I see you next, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and you have some time to reflect on faith.